Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reclaimed Ranch. My name is Tara, and I thought I was done with the Easter stuff, but my friend is having her big spring open house this weekend, and so she asked me to do these two garden signs and a couple of Easter bunny blocks. So she basically had everything done for me. She did all of the Cricut work. All I had to do was put on the board and paint it. So I thought, sure, why not? That's super easy. So you can also do this if you don't have a Cricut. You can print it out on paper and either use a tracing paper underneath, or you can use a pencil to trace the design on the back of the paper and then lay it down and then trace over the design, and it'll leave that imprint. And then you can paint. So what I like to do is I like to take my Mod Podge and paint over the design first. That way it has very, very minimal bleeding, if any. So I don't have to worry about that paint getting underneath that vinyl, especially on these kind of boards where it has a lot of texture. It just makes it a lot easier and kind of makes it worry-free that the paint will stay where it needs to and not go underneath. So these boards turned out really cute. This one says garden, and the other one says, I believe, herb garden. And she's just using some scrap wood that she had downstairs in her basement. So basically anything would work for something like this. And then I used Fusion Picket Fence, and then I'm going to be using JRV's, which is Jamie Ray Vintage. Their stencil brushes are amazing. This is the first time I've used this, but a friend of mine, Sonnet from Sonic's Garden and Bloom, she was obsessed when she first used them too. And so I wanted to give these a try, and they are so nice. I used to use the ones from like the dollar store, but it does make a huge difference when you buy quality products to do your projects. So when you see me pausing, it's because I'm watching my show. I like to watch like medical shows and hospital shows and stuff. So this is just my downtime where I like to craft and then get caught up on my shows and whatnot. So this is the satisfying part. After I paint it, I dry it just a little bit. And then I peel it off, weed out the little spots that don't come out normally, and it's all done. And I don't have to seal it. I could, because the wood is raw, kind of, but because the Fusion paint already has a sealer in there, I'm not going to worry about it. So same thing, I just took the transfer tape, put it over the top of the Cricut design, laid it down where I wanted it, pulled the transfer tape off, and now I'm going in with the Mod Podge to seal where the design is. And I always use my heat gun to speed up the process, but you can set it aside and let it dry normally and start a different project if you want. But I get too impatient. I love variety, so I like to do different things. And if I have to wait for something to dry, well, I want to get it checked off my list. So I use my heat gun and dry it completely and then keep going. And I think I only did I did one coat for sure, and then I came back through and just in a couple areas I did like a second coat where it seemed like the paint was kind of thin. So I'm just going to weed out the rest of the little pieces, and that one will be done as well. She just loved them. She thought they were so cute. And then these are the little bunny blocks that she wanted me to do. And so she did them double-sided. So again, I'm going to go in with the Mod Podge, do the same thing. Now with these, I probably should have not dried them with my heat gun, I found that if I did it for more than just a few seconds, the paint actually adhered to the tape and would kind of pull away with it. So I think next time, once I do the Mod Podge, I don't think I'm going to push it to dry. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint, and while the paint's still wet, I'm going to pull away the tape and then dry it. That way I won't have the paint coming up away from the board, if that makes sense. So I'm using all fusion colors. I don't really remember which ones they were. It's just a bunch of the lighter pastel Eastery colors. I could have used DIY paint as well, but fusion has its own primer and sealer in it, so I just wanted to quickly get these done, be done in one step. And that was my goal, and that's what it did. It was really fun in her shop today. We had the first 10 people got a little Easter gift bag, and then she had an Easter egg hunt with a golden egg even, and everybody got prizes, whoever found the eggs throughout the store. Lots of food samples, lots of sales, so it was a good time, and we're open again tomorrow for the same thing. She does this every big season. She'll have like an open house, so there'll be one in fall and then one at Christmas time, and then one at springtime. So it's quite fun. We have lots of events which keep us busy. This third one, okay, so if you've been following me since I first started, this was my actual very first video, this little seed box. I got it from Sonnet's Garden Blooms. She made one just like it, and I thought it was so dang cute that I had to have one. And I made it, and I put it in one of my booths, and it sat there the entire spring, so I put it away for fall and Christmas. Brought it back out this year, and I'm like, maybe let's try and put some florals on this and make it a little bit more gardeny and more appealing and see if it sells. So I think this turned out so pretty. Like, I almost didn't want to put it in the booth because I almost was going to keep it for myself. So hopefully it'll sell soon. If not, maybe if it doesn't sell this time, I guess it was just meant to be mine. But I think it turned out really cute. And this is just like an old toolbox. It was all rusty, and I used weather defense to seal it before I painted it. And it was a DIY paint. I believe it's Apothecary. If not, it's like Farm Fresh. And then I sealed it with Big Top. And then the IOD, I don't know if it's called Redoubt. Not sure of how to pronounce the name, but I did show it at the beginning of this clip. So if you wanted to know which one it was, it's got so many gorgeous florals in it and so very detailed and just bright colors. Just really, really makes a piece stand out. And the fun part with these transfers is you can use them all in one, like on a piece of furniture or something, but I love just cutting these pieces up and being able to be creative on my own and do my own designs with them. It just is more fun and mentally challenging, I think, to be able to design your own projects. Plus, I'm just trying to use up any of the scraps that I already had in a baggie. And as with any transfer, you always just peel the white backing off, place it down where you want it, use that little plastic tool to push it into your project and peel it off. So I'm going to go ahead and reseal this now with Big Top again. because of all of our new transfers. And I did end up painting the bottom with Fusion's color Ash. And we'll see how it goes in the store. And today's last project is a sign that I picked up at the Goodwill bins. And I mean, it is kind of cute, but I always want to make my own stuff. So, of course, I've got all my new decoupage papers in, and I just am having a grand old time playing with them. So, these cute little birdies caught my eye, and I thought this would be the perfect paint to, or perfect piece to decoupage this on. So I'm going to go in with DIY Paint White Swan, give it 2 coats to cover up those sunflowers in that dark background. And then make sure that they're nice and dry in between each coats. And then what we'll do is we'll wet the corners. Your eye is going to always be looking for a straight edge. They're just kind of drawn to those straight shapes and forms. And so I always take my decoupage papers, these rice papers, wet it down with water, and then rip the edges so that it's more of a natural kind of look to it, and then it blends in a lot better. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to just set it on there and make sure it fits. It's a little bit big, so we're going to go around again and then just kind of trace out where I want that to be taken off. And then I'll just rip those off, and we'll start placing this decoupage paper down with our Fusion's decoupage and transfer gel. And I always do a little section at the top and then work my way down. And that's going to really help with having less bubbles and wrinkles. I love this because it's a gel form. It just is less messy. I know exactly where it's going to go. It just really works really well. So you can see I did a strip there, and I pushed the air bubbles towards the up side. And now we're going to push them down to keep them as flat as possible. And then once I get the entire paper down, I'm going to go over with my heat gun, and that's really going to get all that caught air underneath out of there. It'll release it and make it super flat. And then you want to make sure to seal your transfer completely. So I'm going to go over the whole thing. And I could have left it like this, but I was really just kind of wanting the edges to blend in and just have the birds be the focal point. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with some Fusion paint and just kind of blend in the corners a little bit to narrow it down and make the focal point the birds. We're going to be using the Little Lamb. It's a perfect gray. Love this color. And I just tap real lightly. I don't want it to look like it's a paintbrush stroke. I want it to have some little dots and texture in there, and make it look like someone didn't paint this, but that it was just kind of coming out from the image. And then you guys did want to do more kind of blending techniques. I had asked on that last video with that bee table, and a lot of you were interested in learning more about how to blend in the different paints and on different projects. So we'll be finding more stuff to do so that you guys can kind of see a little bit more up close, and I'll take my time a little bit more and kind of get into the nitty-gritty details. And it looks like it's pretty hard, but actually it's not. You just keep your mister spray handy, some water, and if the paint starts drying, you can just add a little bit of water and it will blend it really nice. So we are all set for today. These are the final projects. Let me know what you think. I think the seeds box turned out gorgeous. So this is going to be my favorite of the day. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to be heading back up tomorrow for the spring open house, and hopefully we'll have some good sales and meet lots of new people. So I wish you all well, and I'll see you back on Tuesday. Take care. Bye.